Hello, and welcome to another day of English 2. I'm your online instructor, Miss A. Bear. As a reminder, we have been working on a personal narrative unit, and we are wrapping it up, getting closer and closer. So this is a coming of age unit from CommonLit, and so our essential question for the entire unit is what experiences lead us or led us from childhood into adulthood? And the last time that we met, you should have completely written your personal narrative describing an experience that's been part of your transition out of childhood. And I'm not going to go over any of those ideas any longer because you should have already completed that writing piece. Today, we are going to be doing a peer review. That is where one of your classmates will read your paper and give you feedback on it. And so when I look at peer review, I love what I call the PQP method or protocol, and it is to praise, question, and polish. And so I learned this method when I was in college, and I really wish I had had it when I was in high school. So when you receive someone's paper, you're going to read over your friend's paper or your classmate's paper. You're going to read everything, and I want you to write down 2 things that you like about the author's work. Was it well written? Was there something memorable? Did their narrative inspire you? Think about how that paper or that narrative has been written, and even look at some of the details that you like. So one of the 2 things that you write can be overarching as the entire narrative, but I want you to be specific with one detail. So think back to the standards that we went over at the beginning of our writing task or when we first started writing, and I want you to think about those standards, and hopefully your teacher has given you a copy of that, and I want you to find something specific that meets that standard and said, hey, you met standard 10.2 really well. You engaged this reader, you engaged me and did this really well, and this is how. And provide evidence from their text, from their essay that shows what they did really well. So be specific in at least one of those details, and then the other praise that you give can be an overarching detail. Next, you want to question something within their paper, and just one. So it's one question that you have. Was there something that you didn't understand? Was there something in that essay that needed to be further explained? When you read someone else's paper and there are missing details and you can't really picture what happened, then you need to say, hey, can you provide extra details here? And be very specific about where someone might want to consider adding some details, but present that as a question. So it might be, hey, what did, when you went to the theater, what smells do you remember? Because I don't know about you, but when I go to the theater, the first thing that slams into my face when I walk in the door is the smell of buttered popcorn. And I may not get popcorn. That's a lie. I'm going to get popcorn every time. But I will always have popcorn and a soda and maybe even a snack. And my daddy always liked those Junior mints. So when I go to the theater, I think about the smell of popcorn, I think about Junior mints, and I think about that soda and how the fizzies in my mouth work and those details. So think about those details that you can put in your writing. And if you're reading someone else's paper, then you may even think about asking, how did that soda feel in your mouth after you had been thirsty for all day long and you had not had anything to drink? You were so thirsty and you finally got that soda. How did that feel in your mouth? How did it feel going down your throat? How did it feel in your stomach? Because you know as well as I do, when you haven't had anything to drink, you can immediately feel that drink hit your stomach, and it doesn't have any, I mean, it's a feeling unlike any other feeling that you've had. So describe that. And so when you are reading someone else's paper, ask them those questions. How did it feel as it was going down? How did this look? Ask those questions very specific, but just one. Don't give them too much because we don't want to rewrite their paper, right? This is their baby. They have written that, so be gentle with your question. Lastly, you want to help them polish that paper. So when we think about polishing, you want to write down one suggestion that you have that might improve the writing. Always remember to be professional and courteous because there is nothing like someone getting your paper and it's been marked completely up and you just feel like they have taken your baby that you've written and they've said, you have the ugliest baby that I've ever read. And be professional, be courteous because nobody likes that. In your polishing, you may want to look at sentence structure. Does the essay that your partner has written, does it have very choppy sentences? If it has a lot of choppy sentences, then you may want to say, hey, you may want to consider making these sentences a little bit longer and making them flow in a way that maybe you have a longer sentence and then some short choppy ones, but be intentional with your writing style. When you're looking at polishing, you want to look at grammar. Do they have the correct punctuation? Do they have correct spelling? Do they have all of these other minor details? But polishing is just the sparkle, those last touches, and that's it. So I want you to do this 3 times. So at the end of today, you should have read 3 of your classmates' essays or personal narratives. And here's the really cool thing. Find somebody who writes better than you. I know it can be intimidating, but find at least one person who writes better than you because let me tell you what's going to happen. When you read their paper, you're going to get some ideas for your own because tomorrow you are going to be revising your own paper. But for today, you need to give feedback to your classmates. So find you some classmates, at least 3. I said repeat 2 more times because we didn't do the first time because I just told you about it. So 3 times I want you to complete the steps on this slide. And so I'm actually going to ask my producers to stay on this slide so that you have that protocol on your screen and your teacher can pause it so that you can finish this up. Until next time, happy writing and have fun, guys.